What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? It is Kevin with Optimized Essentials. And in today's video, we're going to be discussing unmet needs, trauma, and repeating bad habits, okay? So I want to ask you a question. Have you ever experienced, something in your life where you're doing something over and over and over again, and it's not necessarily good for you, but you can't stop doing it? This could be constantly eating, right? Eating too much junk food, constantly watching too much TV, too much social media, too much pornography, smoking too much weed, smoking too much cigarettes, drinking too much alcohol. Whatever activity, behavior, or self-sabotage that you do, are there any instances in your life where you feel like you are repeating the same thing over and over, or you're using a certain copingism over and over despite its negative consequences? If the answer to this question is yes, yes, and yes, then I want you to watch all the way until the end, because in the beginning of the video, I'm going to discuss why you're experiencing this, the concepts, the ideas, the perspectives necessary for you to gain the awareness and understanding of why you're doing what you're doing. And then also at the end, I'm going to give you the practical applications, steps you can potentially take so that you can actually solve this problem and not have it reoccur over and over and over again, because it hurts. We all know that it's extremely painful, right? Life is suffering when we repeat a certain behavior over and over again, despite it not really working, okay? By the way, guys, I got this poncho in Colombia. I was there for 3 weeks in vacation, and I love it, guys. I threw it in the washer and it got all wrinkly, and I just steamed it. So feels good. And let's get started. Okay, so first things first, I want to explain why I decided to make this video. 2 reasons. Number one, if you guys didn't know, recently I finally stopped my 2-year, close to 2 years anniversary at my family's business. I was running a store for them in Orange County, and I was by myself for 2 years in a goddamn office, sitting on my ass, 9 to 5, all right? It was actually 10 to 6, but it's your typical 9 to 5 job where you're not really happy, not really fulfilled. And I noticed myself going out to buy food a lot more than I used to, drink alcohol a lot more than I used to, smoke pot a lot more than I used to, or not smoke pot, do edibles. I don't smoke anymore. I used to be a pothead, right? In high school, I would smoke like breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and it would be so much that my lungs hurt, So I've always had an issue with using coping mechanisms that don't really serve me, right? Knowing that it doesn't really help you feel better in the long run, but in the short term, it gives you that short-term pleasure. I've always had this issue, and I'm making this video because the second reason because I notice a lot of other people have this issue, right? We have a tendency to use coping mechanisms that help us in the short term, but give us pain in the long term. And we don't know why we can't stop, okay? And in this video, hopefully the stuff I'm going to share with you is going to give you exactly that, okay? So that is the introduction of why I made it, okay? The second thing I want to share with you are 2 quotes that articulate this point very clearly, all right? Clearly and concisely. It's so accurate in terms of why we do what we do, why we do these behaviors, right? Okay. When a person can't find a deep sense of meaning, they distract themselves with pleasure. Viktor Frankl. Viktor Frankl, if you don't know, is a Holocaust survivor who also wrote the book Man's Search for Meaning, okay? So let me read that again. When a person can't find a deep sense of meaning, they distract themselves with pleasure, okay? And then I'm going to give you another quote by Dr. John DeMartini, and he is going to say something similar. And instead of reading it to you, which I will again, I'm going to play a video that I watched on Gaia. I kind of like ripped off like 20 seconds of it because it's so powerful, and I just want you to hear him say it with his own words, okay?
Anytime a person is not living authentically according to what is truly most important and meaningful and value and inspiring in their lives, the unfulfillment makes them seek immediate gratification to compensate. And this addictive behavior, this hedonic treadmill, trying to find this instant gratification and pleasure, makes people sometimes try to be somebody they're not, which is a vicious cycle.
For me, I ate and I watched movies and TV, and that was what I used to do. As soon as I got home, I'd start eating, junk food and watching whatever was on cable TV. I would just check out. Any chance I could to check out, I was gone. I just wanted to be anesthetized, and my drug of choice was TV, movies, and food.
Okay, perfect. So I hope you got that. He says, anytime a person is not living authentically according to what is truly most important and meaningful and valuable and inspiring in their lives, the unfulfillment makes them seek immediate gratification to compensate. And this addictive behavior, this hedonic treadmill, trying to find this instant gratification and pleasure, makes people sometimes try to be someone they're not, which is a vicious cycle, which leads perfectly to the next things that I want to talk about. Okay, so this covers a good amount of what these two quotes cover up a good amount of what I'm trying to share, but there's a lot more to it. Okay, there's sometimes trauma, meaning when you're young, maybe you might have traumatic instances by your parents beating you, your parents not being there, not giving you enough love, your friends or your family, or your friends or coworkers, peer groups, they're kind of making fun of you, doing things that cause traumatic memories within yourselves, which then leads you to act on behaviors. Okay, so I'm going to show you this diagram. I'm going to post a picture because it didn't really print right. If you can see, it didn't really print it correctly. My printer is messing up. So basically, you have on one side of the triangle unmet needs or trauma, okay? And I'm going to share with you what the unmet needs are, because we have two models that we're going to be tapping into. One is Tony Robbins' 6 Human Needs, and the other one is the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, Abraham Maslow, okay? So unmet needs, they're very real, okay? The same way the body needs vitamins and minerals, right? The same way we need certain nutrients to thrive and to be functioning at optimal capacity, our mind, body, and spirit, right? Our personality, our spirituality, these two have specific needs that need to be met, ideally at a high level, for us to be fulfilled, all right? If we're not fulfilled, if we're not happy, what we will then do is go to an activity or behavior as a way to meet those needs. You get what I'm saying? Look, if you have a desire for novelty, for growth and happiness, and you're not getting that from what you're doing, right? In other words, if I'm not happy at my job, I'm probably going to end up spending a lot of time playing video games, going out and trying to hook up with girls, going out and go shopping, etc., etc. You get the idea, okay? Now, once you have an unmet need and you have an activity or behavior that somewhat fulfills that need, that unmet need, you then create a habit, okay? When this habit gets ingrained, I call it habit gone wild, right? Almost like girls gone wild. Anyways, that is what I came to conclusion, right? Before I read these quotes, like I kind of pieced it together. I've studied this information, but I didn't really understand it until I experienced it myself. I made a post recently on Instagram where I need to experience something in order to teach it. And with all this being said, let's cover more of this information, okay? Okay, so the second thing we're going to talk about is Tony Robbins' 6 Human Needs. This is where the printer didn't really did me dirty, so I have to read it through my phone. Okay, so what are the human needs, all right? The first one we're going to go over is Tony Robbins' 6 Human Needs, and then we're going to talk about Maslow's hierarchy of needs. In my opinion, they're quite similar. Tony Robbins might have a little bit more specificity, and Maslow's hierarchy of needs is somewhat general, but also somewhat specific, okay? So Tony Robbins says we have 6 human needs. Number 1, it's certainty, okay? Certainty in terms of assurance you can avoid pain and gain pleasure, safety, and security. And then also, which I'm going to jump ahead, if you look at Maslow's hierarchy of needs, the bottom is physiological needs, which is air, water, food, shelter, sleep, clothing, and reproduction. So essentially, the certain need for certainty is you need to know that something is going to happen the way it's going to happen. Meaning, I wake up in the morning, I need to be certain that I have my coffee. I need to be certain that I can go to the gym. I need to have certainty that I can do this, X, Y, or Z, right? Certainty is, in a sense, safety, right? I need to know that when I come home, I'm going to have a home and that my home didn't get burned down. When I come home, I need to know that my kids are going to be around so that I will feel loved, or I need to know that my pets are going to be there. A sense of certainty means a sense of safety and security, okay? The second need is uncertainty and variety, meaning if you're always certain, if you always know what's going to happen, then you're always going to be bored, right? If there's a bit of uncertainty, now things get very exciting because you don't know, right? There's a surprise element to it. But if you have too much uncertainty and not enough certainty, then now you're always in flight or flight, you're always scared, you're always unsure of what to do. And then uncertainty can also be described as variety, meaning you need variety, right? For me, going to a 9-to-5 job, doing the same things over and over and over and over again, I had too much certainty and not enough variety or uncertainty. So what did I do? I would find ways to meet my need for variety by buying alcohol. Sometimes I would literally drink a whole bottle of red wine by myself. I would go out and buy Chipotle, eat food, bunch of food, because I'm so fucking bored, right? I'd go to the beach, which is a healthier form of way of meeting variety. But after a while of doing the same things over and over, you need more stuff. So, I would go back into my habits of pot use and buy edibles. I wouldn't do all of this stuff in the same day. I would kind of switch them out. That's where I realized I didn't really have a problem or an addiction. I didn't really have an addiction, but I did have a problem. And the problem was my needs weren't being met, okay? And then the third one is significance. We want to feel like we're useful. We want to feel significant. Me making these videos makes me feel significant. I feel like I'm helping someone, right? Sharing this stuff about 16 needs, our needs, it's going to help someone have that breakthrough where it's like, oh, this is what I need. This is what I'm not getting. And this is what I'm trying to use to make up for these needs. Okay. So significance is a feeling of value, importance, special or needed, and independence. Okay. Connection and love, which is the fourth need. A strong feeling of closeness or union with someone or something or self, right? Connection and love. With social media nowadays, a lot of people are disconnected from each other, from oneself, because they're always looking into technology and they're not really looking inside of themselves. And they're not really connecting with other people because they're connecting with other people through technology. And that does not replace the physical need, the actual psychological need to connect with each other in person, right? So what ends up happening when people don't get love and connection, Tony Robbins says you settle for connection, but the higher version is love. When we don't get that, what we try to do is we try to find connection through drugs. We try to find connection through food or anything that brings us somewhat deeper within ourselves because we're not getting it from other people, okay? So these first four needs, Tony Robbins describes as a need of the personality, right? The next two are going to be the needs of our spirit, right? The spiritual needs. And the fifth need and the sixth need is growth and contribution, okay? So growth, right? If we're not growing, we're dying, meaning if you're not progressively moving towards an ideal, what ends up happening is you're actually decaying, right? Because from the moment you're born to the moment you die, there's a sand timer, right? If you're not doing something purposeful and useful with your life, you're not making progress, you're not building towards something, essentially you can argue that you're dying because you're dying the moment you're born, right? Okay? So he says growth or progress equals happiness. When we're making progress on something, whether it be building a new skill, making videos, getting better at a skill set, a workplace, you get what I'm saying. When you're making progress in your life in any field, you're going to feel happy, okay? So that's a spiritual need. And then number 6, contribution, a sense of service and focus on helping, giving to, and supporting other people and others. Me making these videos is a way to contribute. Cooking for someone is a way to contribute. Helping your community is a way to contribute. When we're not growing and we're not contributing, spiritually, we feel like we're dying, okay? We don't feel like we're living up to our potential. And then when we're not meeting all 6 of these needs at a high level, what ends up happening is we have deficiencies, okay? And these deficiencies lead us to use lower level behaviors or whatever we know the best. We try to make the best decision with the things that we have in our surroundings or the experiences that we have. We use certain activities or behaviors, whether they're good or bad, to help meet these needs to the best of our ability, okay? Now, I think we pretty much hit the nail on the head with Tony Robbins' 6 human needs, but I'm going to really quickly cover Maslow's hierarchy of needs, which basically essentially say the same thing. He says that the bottom of the pyramid is physiological needs. The second rung is safety needs. So physiological, again, is air, certainty that we have proper air, not polluted air, water, drinkable water, food, right? We have access to food, shelter, our home, sleep, a place to rest, clothing, things to wear, reproduction. I guess you can throw that in there. Safety needs, personal security, which is the second one, employment, resources, health, and property. We need to know we have a job. We need to know that we're making income. We need to know that our house is protected, okay? And then after that, once we meet these bottom basic needs, love and belonging, okay? Friendship, intimacy, family, sense of connection, etc. Now, this is where it can start to get a little shaky, because what if you don't have friends? What if you don't have intimacy with a partner? What if you have a family, but you always argue and bicker with them and you don't really feel connected? And you don't really have a sense of connection. So that middle connection or all these pieces can be shaky, right? And then the fourth one, the green one, which is esteem, respect, self-esteem, status, recognition, strength, and freedom. Sometimes at our job, we might have a position, we might have a certain status, and it gives us esteem, right? We might not get the connection and love we need at home or with other people, but we have the esteem, right? And then finally, self-actualization is the desire to become the most that one can be, to fully realize oneself. Now, if you tie these two models together, anytime you have deficiencies in any one of these needs or any one of these sections of the pyramid, what you end up doing is you find a way to make up for it. It could be conscious or unconscious. Meaning if you have a need for connection and love and you're not getting it, you might get it in a way that's unhealthy for you. You might do drugs to connect with yourself, to connect with God. You might harm people unintentionally because you want to feel connected to them somehow in a dark way. To feel significant, you might say stupid things. You might be like a class clown, right? To get growth, you might play video games all day because you think like you're getting better, you're developing a skill set, but it's artificial. Contribution, there's not really much, I guess there are dark ways to get it, but you get what I'm saying, okay? So essentially, when you're not meeting your needs or when your needs aren't being met, or you have a trauma in the past where you didn't get your needs met and it keeps on causing issues in your life, what you are going to do is you're going to use coping mechanisms to meet your needs. You get what I'm saying? Anytime you're not meeting your needs, you are going to find a way to meet them, whether it's good, bad, or neutral, okay? I also have a third diagram, which I'll really quickly go over, and then we'll wrap up with what you can do, is the chakra system, right? They all have colors. They all look like the rainbow, right? Essentially, Maslow's hierarchy of needs is like the westernized version of the chakra system, right? The root chakra, the most basic survival and safety is down there. The second chakra, the sacral chakra, sexual desires, sexual needs, creativity, solar plexus, personal will. That's just knowing certainty, knowing that you can assert yourself or get yourself to do something. Heart chakra, connecting with other people, contributing, growth, etc. Or not growth, connecting and loving. Your throat chakra, your third eye, your crown chakra, All of these are spiritual essences, right? This allows us to speak our truth, allows us to say things or say bad things. The third eye, right, gets insights. We can tap into intuition. Crown chakra, tapping into intuition, receiving insights from the universe, receiving guidance, etc. So anytime any of these chakras are out of balance, in a way, our needs aren't being met or causing deficiencies or damage to our human body. Okay, so far, I hope you guys are enjoying this. If you are and you're not completely, baffled or overwhelmed with information that I'm sharing, make sure you give this video a thumbs up and drop some comments down below, because that's going to boost the algorithm and more people can see this. More people can heal their trauma, meet their needs in a better way, which we're going to share with how you can do that. Okay, so solutions, how to apply this knowledge. Number 1, develop your awareness or your consciousness, okay? What do I mean? By watching a video like this, by learning about information, which is the first part in developing your awareness and consciousness, is to learn, you're growing your capacity to form connections, right? Hopefully, with me sharing this information, you're seeing the connections within your own life, right? Maybe you're repeating a certain behavior of eating too much or watching too much TV. You come home, you sit on the couch, you pop open the bag of Cheetos, you pop open, a can of beer, and you're drinking and you're medicating yourself, right? By watching a video like this and you're learning about this information, what you're doing is you're expanding your mind, you're expanding your consciousness, you're learning, you're forming new synapses, you're forming new neuronal connections, neurons, right? And what you're doing is you're developing your ability to see and discover and reflect on what's going on, okay? Number 2, in terms of developing your awareness, is to meditate. The more aware you can become, the more you can see and become aware of why you're doing what you're doing. Awareness alone isn't going to change your problems, but it's going to give you the precision, the accuracy to understand at a root level what is going on, okay? Number 3, self-reflection or journaling, okay? When you journal and you put down on paper what you're feeling, why you're feeling this way, what are the things that cause you to feel this way, potentially by reflecting on all this stuff and jotting it down, you can trace back, okay, I'm behaving this way because of this, this, and this. And when you start to reflect and really think about what's going on, you can get to the root of the issue, okay? So that's number 3. And then number 4, plant medicine, which I did recently, is ayahuasca, is in a way, it gives you more awareness. It gives you perspective. It gives you a different angle, a different way of seeing things that make you realize, oh, I am behaving this way because of this way or because of this. And then it gives you the insight and the tools necessary to potentially change your problem, okay? So all of this is about developing your awareness, developing your consciousness so that you can have the power to change, okay? Number 2, remove yourself from the environment. Meaning, just by me removing myself from the workplace, meaning I told my parents, I'm not doing this anymore, right? I can't sit in a fucking office for any more. It's like solitary confinement, literally. By myself, 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. What the fuck, I'm not meant to do this, I need to move my body. I need to really utilize my potential. Otherwise, I'm going to medicate myself. And that's exactly what I did. So what I did was I removed myself from the environment. I was like, fuck this. I don't want to do this anymore. We decided to close down that location. And now I'm in the process of starting a new career. Probably in body work, massage therapy, personal training, health and wellness, somewhere along that lines, What you can do is you can go on vacation. So once I left, I took a 3-week vacation to Colombia, did ayahuasca to reconnect myself, reset my nervous system, reconnect with nature. And you can go to a retreat. You can do anything that basically renews your mind, body, and spirit so that you have a clean slate and you can, get back into the matrix with a new, new slate, right? which is very similar to rehab. People who have issues with like drugs, alcohol, addictions, they go to rehab because it disconnects them from the environment, the triggers that keep them on that hamster wheel, all right? So remove yourself from the environment by either going on vacation, going on a healing retreat that is designed to snap you out of that dumb shit that you're doing. And then if not, go into rehab. I don't really think rehab is the best environment to get into, but if you feel like you need to, do that, okay? Number 3, within the second point, which is removing yourself from the environment, is to relocate to a city or an environment that exemplifies the vibration you want to be in. Meaning, if you're someone who tries to lose weight and you can't, surround yourself with a community or move to a city where people are just like healthy and happy. It's hard to be the only fat and out of shape and unhealthy person when all of your friends are eating healthy, thinking healthy, being healthy, going to the gym, eating vegan, vegetarian, etc. Eventually, that's going to rub off on you and you're going to pick up on those habits, right? So relocate to someplace or join a club or a facility where these people are of the abundance, okay? Third point, pray for grace and divine intervention. Sometimes you can't do it alone. Sometimes it's hard, it's difficult. Pray, 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 ask for help, cry, and, try to communicate with God or your spirit guides, whatever you believe in. Just ask for help, right? And then hopefully with the grace of God, something or someone happens and, you could say, I'm divine intervention. Oh, God sent me here to make this video. You're watching this video. You gain the insights you need and bam, off you go. All right. And then let's see. Finally, the fourth point is to find better replacements. In order to treat the behaviors at their root, right? Well, first you need to figure out why are you repeating these behaviors? But oftentimes, we're using these behaviors because that's the best that we know, right? To get my need for variety, to get my need for uncertainty, the best possibilities that I knew at the time was to do plant medicine, mushrooms every now and then. Whenever I do Kundalini yoga, I would microdose so that I could really get into an altered state. And in that environment, it's unpredictable. Sometimes I would drink and go out for a walk and go to different places because that in itself is a bit unpredictable. Even though it's a certain activity, I would use, I would go to the beach. There was many different things I would use as a way to cope with my need for variety. I need variety. I need something new to grow, to challenge, I need not a new environment, but I need something that stimulates me, right? And if I'm not getting that, I'm going to use the best activities that I know. For you guys, for whoever's watching this, it could be just same thing. Drinking, smoking cigarettes, smoking pot, watching TV, watching movies, watching marathons, watching pornography, constantly beating the monkey, just doing something over and over again despite its negative consequences. Well, what I realized through all of this is sometimes we can meet our needs at a higher level with better activities, right? I said it was easy for me at certain phases of my life to turn down alcohol, to turn down pot, because I was in such a high vibrational frequency where it's like, the song, Bitch Don't Kill My Vibe, Kendrick Lamar, I believe. Literally, when you're at a high vibrational frequency, you don't want your vibration to be lowered. You don't want to drink alcohol. You don't want to smoke pot. You want to do stupid shit because you're fulfilled. All of your needs are being met. When I am in a peer group, when I'm connecting with someone and I'm having a good conversation, there's good food, the environment is tranquil, there's a lot of nature, it's blissed out. I don't need this stupid shit to lower my vibration. Why would I want to lower my vibration? People will only want to lower their vibration, or if they're already around that vibration. Like if you're at a low vibration and alcohol and pot can raise your vibration a little bit, or porn, drugs, and video games can raise your vibration a little bit, of course you'll do it. Why? Because you're already at a low vibrational frequency. Your needs aren't being met. You have low level of emotions. You're unhappy. You're unsatisfied. You don't have a passion. You don't have a purpose. You don't have meaningful work to do. So what do? You use a lower level behavior, a low level activity to meet those needs. But if you find a higher level activity, you find passion, you find purpose, arts and craft, singing and dancing, you find something that raises your vibration, that gives you more fulfillment than doing this stupid shit, then what you will end up doing is you'll choose those behaviors over these ones. And when you do it enough, those become your habits, those becomes those habit gone wild, and you'll have your needs met, you'll have positive habits, and you'll be a happy, healthy, and wholly healthy human being. Well, bam, okay? So, guys, it's Kevin. I really hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you got some insights. Life can be difficult. It can be challenging, but at the same time, it can be very beautiful, very blessed, or very blissful, very just beyond words can comprehend, okay? If you're in a state where you're not feeling the best, where you're not, when you're repeating certain behaviors and you're stuck and you feel like you're just at the low rung of life, just know that your life isn't always going to be that way. There's yin, there's yang, there's cycles. Sometimes your life is going to be shitty. On the flip side, it's going to be very good. You can make it through this. Keep praying. Keep watching videos like this. Keep learning about how you can change your life, how you can move forward despite all this negativity and resistance, because that resistance and negativity is by law necessary for you to grow, right? For you to ascend, for you to become stronger, healthier, better. You need to have these negative experiences to give contrast and to give the opportunity for you to become a better human being, okay? So this video is getting way too long. Again, if you enjoyed this video, I'd really appreciate it if you click the like button, subscribe to the channel, and drop some comments down below so you can boost the algorithm. And yeah, guys, I'll see you in the next one. If you have any video requests, please let me know. I'll be happy to see if I can make something on it. And yeah, you guys have a good one. Peace.